Welcome everybody to our regular city council meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2015, and I do call this meeting to order. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone please rise and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and we'll have Sandy read the clerk's open meeting statement for us.
This meeting and all meetings of the Common Council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, so the citizens may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting.
Thank you, Sandy. And as council knows, and the public I would think would know too, we do have one opening on the council, and we had an applicant. It is Lori Chestnut, and Lori is here tonight. We would like to appoint her and then tonight and have her participate in the meeting, but I don't. I'm not sure if council, if you wanted to ask her some questions before you decided to vote, or we're just basically looking for a motion to approve her appointment, unless you do have questions ahead of time.
Make a motion to appoint Lori Chestnut to the 4th Aldermanic District.
Second.
We have a motion by Hagan, second by Hackett, that we approve of appointing Lori Chestnut to the 4th Aldermanic District. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Lori, if you would, come on up here and take the seat in between Scott and Al, at your own risk, of course. Yeah, let's do it right here.
Yeah.
Here we go. Thank you.
I state your name.
Lori Chestnut.
Having been appointed to the position of alderperson for the 4th Aldermanic District, Ward 4 and 6 for the City of Waupaca, do affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability under the penalties of perjury. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice. Lori, I understand you got a paper copy of the packet tonight, and of course, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to pipe up. I mean, that's true with all council people, but we fully expect that. And it will take you a while to get acclimated. If some of you might not know, but Lori did serve on the city council a few years ago, actually in the same district.
In the same district.
Yeah.
Coming home.
Okay, nice. All right, let's move on then, and we'll have Sandy take the roll call for us.
Brian Smith.
Here.
Steve Hackett.
Here.
Lori Chestnut.
Here.
Paul Hagan.
Here.
Alan Keeland.
Here.
Scott Perchatsky.
Here.
Dave Peterson.
Here.
Paul Mayo.
Here.
Chuck Whitman.
Here.
Jillian Peterson.
Here.
And Eric Olson.
Here.
10 present. We have a quorum.
Thanks, Sandy. Consent agenda. You have the consent agenda in front of you. Sandy has said there are no additional items for the consent agenda. Are there any items that council would like to see moved from the consent agenda to the regular agenda where you vote on those with one specific vote instead of voting on all of the items under the consent agenda with one vote? Hearing none, we would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Keelan, second by Hagan, that we approve the consent agenda as printed. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Regular agenda, I think, Sandy, you don't have anything there either, do you, additional? Okay, so the regular agenda is as is. Again, unless we have something that we would like to change or move on the regular agenda, I would be looking for approval of that.
Second.
Motion by Olson, second by Keelan, that we approve of the regular agenda as presented. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Under announcements and correspondence, we had a couple of individuals that couldn't make it to the last meeting that won the Public Works coloring contest, so we're going to ask them to come up in front here. It's Tiana Miller and Carter Furmanek. How's it going there? What's your name? Okay, just checking.
Looks a little familiar.
Yeah. You want this? Sure. Yeah.
Well, we missed you guys at last week's meeting, or our last meeting. So we recognized the other 4 students, and now it's your turn to be recognized for your coloring contest. Okay, first, Carter, when you want to point out your picture. Is it this one? Yeah. Okay, very good.
Follow instructions like your mother, right?
That's a lot. He's moving dirt there, Mayor. It's all dirt. Tiana, where I saw you down. Okay, there you are. Very good. Tiana is in Mrs. Seifert's class at the WLC, and Carter's in Mrs. Hankey's class. So very good. Congratulations to you guys. We have a little gift to give you. It's a gift certificate to Dairy Queen, and that's to say thank you for entering. We're going to display these up in the lobby of the City Hall Library. So whenever you come in and you have family members or you have your buddies and you want to show off your picture, you can say, hey, I won the coloring contest. So make sure you do that, okay? There you go. Mom, you want some pictures? Come on up. Congratulations.
Okay, let's move on then. We have a couple of presentations, although I don't see them here tonight. We have a presentation plaque to Terry Moe for her 24 years of service to the city. I don't know, Sandy or Aaron, hopefully you can get this to Terry. Sorry she couldn't attend tonight. I can't. She said she couldn't make it tonight, but yeah, you might as well stay right here. This is also Parks and Rec, and again, let me just show you. These are really nice plaques. And Rick is been with us for 38 years, and he just retired at the end of May, and long time. He's not that much older than me. I can't believe he's been here 38 years. But Rick, and I'll just read his. Rick A. Martin, in recognition and appreciation for your 38 years of service to the citizens of the city of Waupaca, Wisconsin, presented by the mayor and common council on the second day of June 2015. So, very nice plaques. Thanks, Aaron. Thank you. Next, we have public input. This is for non-agenda items. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak to us on a non-agenda item, please step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, and limit your time to 3 minutes or less. Anybody that would like to give us some public input? All right, let's move on then
Mr. Mayor, I
to,
would.
oh, I'm sorry, Dave.
Okay,
I was looking out here. I wasn't looking here.
thank you. As a homeowner on the edge of both Hillcrest and not far from Fulton Street, been watching the progress of the redevelopment of the streets, and I think it's really been good. And it's been fast and efficient in what it looks like. And I know the contracting company has done a good job, but I'm here to commend and recognize the city workers of our crew that stay overtime many nights and have put in a lot of hours just to keep that thing going and getting done so it's ready for the next day's work. And I think there's a crew of several of them, Roger leading them, but have really done an outstanding job, and I hope they keep it up to its conclusion. But it's really good so far. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. That's always good to hear that information. I'm sure the crew would love to hear that too. All right, any other public input? I'll look around this time, sorry. Okay, under unfinished business, Josh, it looks like you got to come out from behind the camera again here. Renewal of the Charter Communications contract.
I don't have any action to take tonight. I'm still waiting for a revised contract from Charter, but I'll update you on where I'm at with the information that you asked about from the last meeting. I kind of classified this into 4 different areas. I was requested to see if I get the price per meg written into this new contract, and Charter no longer works that way. What would happen if we want to upgrade or downgrade speed? They would want to redo the contract at that time, which could be advantageous or a disadvantage depending upon what their current pricing is. And hopefully, moving forward, internet pricing goes down. So if we were to go to them a year from now wanting more speed or to decrease that, hopefully that pricing is lower than what we would sign for at this time. So they no longer put the end of the contract. It's just, each time you revisit it and want to make a change, they'd do it at their current internet rates. Second comment made at the last meeting to find out more information about was the 2.5 years we were with AT&T. We were paying $4,400 a month for 20 meg service, and when we switched to AT&T for 70 meg service, they were able to get us that service at $2,000 a month, and it was asked at the last meeting why there wasn't as big of a difference this time around, being a another 2.5 year cycle. And Charter's reply to that is that they discounted their current rate for 70 meg service for us, and she did have to go back for special approval for the contract you saw at the last meeting that was below their standard rate on the rate card. Now, that was just the response that I got from her. I did inquire about getting 80 meg service at this time instead of 70 meg for that same $1,700 a month we were quoted, and that request is in front of her management right now. She wasn't able to get an answer for tonight's meeting, but I did ask, and she is seeing if they will do that for us. So hopefully at the next meeting it will have a better contract, is my hope. And the last comment made at the last meeting is if there were any other alternatives to Charter. AT&T is one of them. And Henry and I, back in September of 2012, met with Earthlink, and that was around the time that the state decided to keep operating Waupaca online. And I don't have much documentation from that meeting anymore. I did have a few emails, and what I remember, I think they were only able to offer phone service to this building, is what I recall. And then shortly after that, we did meet with Charter, and I think they blew their pricing out of the water for that. Charter did give us a good deal, being that we were bundling cable, internet, and phone service for this building. So I don't have any definite details, but that was kind of the only other alternative for service that I could recall or think would be possible for this building. And like I said, I think back then Charter did have better pricing than Earthlink and AT&T. So that's kind of the information I've got right now. I don't know if there's any more questions or anything else you'd like me to find out before the next meeting, where I'll hopefully have a better contract.
All right, anybody have any questions? Josh? Thanks, Josh.
Thanks.
All right, so as Josh said, we'll put that off till our next meeting. All right, next we have discussion approval of changing the deadline for the council agenda. Just information purposes only. Normally the deadline is what, Thursday, Sandy? Thursday at noon, and then the packets go out to the city council members on that Friday. They're normally emailed. I think the only one that doesn't get it emailed is Steve, and he stops by on Friday and picks it up that way. So everybody does have it at least normally by noon on Friday, is that right?
Not necessarily, depends.
But sometime on Friday.
Friday afternoon.
Okay. Okay. So, Steve had asked that that date be changed from Friday to a different date, for example, like Wednesday, so that we had a longer period of time to go over the information, to read it, and to understand it, and of course to ask questions too while city staff is here. You know, on the weekends, it's not easy to get questions answered, and you don't want to bother the city staff, of course, on the weekends. So if we were to change it to Wednesday, that would give you the opportunity to have Thursday and Friday, I don't know if that's my mic or whatever, to ask questions and so on. I know Henry and I had some discussion today, and he had some discussion with the department heads too, and you know, along with maybe changing the deadline to this, is there a different format that maybe council would like to see the packet sent out in too, that would make it easier for you to go through the information and to understand it? And I think Tim brought this up a while back too, a few months back, about are they giving us too much information? Are they not giving us enough information? You know, is it just right? And maybe we just need some extra time, or maybe Steve's the only one that needs the extra time. You know,
I maybe am. I'm a slow reader. I read every word, and I don't like to have to do that, but that's the way I have to read. And it takes me a long time to read it. And when I only get it late Friday, and you have to read all day Saturday and part of Sunday, that doesn't make sense.
The one thing that I wanted to make sure that we didn't, and I know I'm hogging the discussion, so I'm going to let everybody talk, but the only thing I want to be careful of is that we don't end up with a lot of addendums, where we end up with handouts that end up on our desk on Tuesday night, where we even have even less time to go through that information, you know. So obviously the advantage of waiting till Thursday is that we're probably going to get all that information in. So if we do switch it to Wednesday, we probably should come up with some kind of guidelines where that day is the day, and if they get it in later than that, then it would go to the next meeting, and that it would not add up to having to send out an addendum and have this information come out late anyways. So, like Henry said too to me today, you know, and we know this too, we have 2 meetings now, so it's not like if they miss it by a day, it's not like they're missing a whole month before they get that on there. It's only 2 more weeks, and then they get that information again. So that's all I have. Anybody have any? Paul?
You know, you asked about the format of the packet. One of the things that I've often thought would be very beneficial reading-wise is to cross-reference the page of the packet to the specific agenda item. So, for instance, you could say, oh, all right, the operator's license is on such and such a page, and you'd see that right on the agenda, and that would make it much easier to jump to the specific agenda item.
Okay, I like that idea.
But there are bookmarks on the website. There's bookmarks on each packet, which you can click on and take it right to the document. Do you know where to find those, Paul?
On the left-hand side, yeah.
I've just got thumbnails myself.
Josh, could you help him, please?
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
One thing we could look at maybe on the agenda, and I'll play with it, maybe we can make them clickable where they click each item and post it.
Oh, that would be,
Oh.
that would work.
Okay. That'd be so good.
Mayor, I guess an alternative, and I know that,
Sorry, Peg.
sorry, Peg.
It's okay. Go ahead. Brendan.
I guess specifically, I know that Alan and Eric have played around with it, and so have you on the Plan Commission agenda. We've changed that format a little bit so that it's each agenda item, it's a little bit different than the bookmark. It's more of a portfolio standpoint, but each agenda item, you would just be able to click on it, and it brings up only that specific one, so you're not scrolling through 180 or 200 or 400 pages. It would just go right to that agenda item if needed. You could actually separate out at that point the agenda on one side of your screen and each individual item on the other is another option as well.
Okay, awesome. Peg, you?
I just think it might be difficult to get the library minutes in by Wednesday when we have our meeting on Tuesday night. So we may be looking at that report coming out the first meeting of the month instead of the last, rather than have an addendum. And a lot of times we're over 30 pages, so that would be a possibility.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. Again, it's just another 2 weeks. The other thing we talked about too, and this would be more for the person that actually types up the minutes and so on. And a while back we were doing this. What you would do is if you had an action item that happened at that committee level, that council actually had to take action on that, you would have that with a box around it and then in bold print so that we could go directly to that and know that that's an item that we're actually going to take action on too. I think that would be helpful too.
On the minutes, what are you saying?
Yeah, right on the minutes, where you would actually have a box where not everything that's in the minutes is an action item that council has to take action on, and in a lot of cases, the library has none. I mean, it's all informational, but let's say for city planning, they'll have a couple of action items on there. If you highlight that somehow, either in bold print or putting a box around it or both or whatever, it will make it easier for people to go directly to that item on the minutes.
The only issue with that is that sometimes the city plan has their action items, but their minutes aren't on that particular meeting. It'll be held over till the city plan approves them at their next meeting, and then they'll hit the following. So they don't always, the minutes aren't always correlated with the
Then you
motion
wouldn't
item.
have any city planning minutes, so then we wouldn't have to worry about it. We would just be doing the action items. So I'm talking about when you have minutes in there and you have an action item, put it in bold. If there isn't an action item, then it wouldn't be in bold.
Okay.
Or it wouldn't have a box
Or a
around
box
it.
around it,
Yeah.
okay.
I think that would be helpful. Anybody else? Somebody over here? I can't remember. Okay. Henry?
Well, I think it's always, I know all the department heads struggle with this a little bit, to give you the adequate information so you have enough background. And we don't want to inundate you, but by the same token, we don't want you to, not have enough information. So that's always a balancing act. Like this packet, it just happens, it's 96 pages, a very manageable size. The last meeting or 2 meetings, we had those plans. I mean, that by itself were, 100 pages each. So it's a lot, that's a lot. But I don't know any way around that easily for you, because you probably want to see the plan and skim through it. And read the sections that are most important to you. So just know from our standpoint, it's sort of a fine line. Some things, an action item, it's a cover memo in 3 pages. That's a very simple thing to get through. But some of this others, there's lots of background. The old minutes, it's an issue that came up 15 years ago, and we dig up the old minutes for it, just to give you background and things. So, I mean, I'm not suggesting anything one way or the other. It's just something that we struggle with all the time.
Well, if you like the idea, it's not like it's set in stone or anything either. We can try it for a few meetings, and if it doesn't work, then we can, I'm sure Sandy and Henry will let us know if it doesn't work right, and we can always go back. If you're comfortable with the way it is right now, then obviously you wouldn't vote in favor of it, changing it to the Wednesday. Again, we haven't had a motion on the floor yet, but it's just been all discussion.
I would like to make a motion that we at least give this a try and start getting the packets on Wednesday.
So, hold on a second here, but, yeah, okay. That's fine, you can do that, and we have a motion and a second, okay? I can't stop you, so let me finish this. We have a motion by Hackett, second by Jillian Peterson, that, we, change the date, from Friday to Wednesday of when the packets will be sent out. That's what your motion was, Steve. Sandy, go ahead. You were gonna.
What's the deadline? Tuesday noon deadline? I mean, I need a deadline to
Yeah,
be able to
so
compile.
if the packets are gonna go out on Wednesday, then we also need to know what you wanna use as the deadline for that. And I guess we almost,
For them,
yeah, you guys really have to
Well,
decide
it'd be a
that.
day earlier. And we're talking just the council packets.
Right.
Right, the other committees are, there doesn't seem to be an issue, and there are gonna be some unintended consequences. Some minutes won't make it into that packet, it will just come the next meeting. It's just the way it's gonna have to go.
So, just to give them a guideline here, if you, Steve, were okay with just saying Tuesday at noon, it would be the deadline. Jillian, are you?
We're gonna move it up 2 days, not just 1 day.
To, I guess, the day before for the deadline.
Right.
'Cause I feel like Thursday would be fine too, like, I don't think I need 2 extra days, but like one is helpful. Well, I think affecting everybody that's trying to get stuff in.
Okay, so you're not seconding the motion
I'll take my second.
then? Okay.
Okay.
So, do we have a second for Steve's motion? No second? Okay, then that motion dies.
But what I don't wanna do, Mayor, is get in a position of not reading the thing like I think some of the council members do.
Well,
Mayor,
And I'm spending way too much time on it.
I think the whole discussion tonight was moving it 1 day earlier, and then the motion was made to have it 2 days earlier, and I think I'm a little confused, and I think others are confused. Are you suggesting, Steve, that we go, was this suggestion all along to have it 2 days earlier?
It was.
Okay, I was confused.
okay. We could do whatever we want here. The motion to go 2 days did not get a second on it, so we're still open here for a motion. If
I'd
we
like to
want.
make a motion that we have the council packet available on Thursday with a deadline of Wednesday noon.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion by Hagan, second by Dave Peterson, that we change the deadline for the council packets to Wednesday at noon, and then the packets will come out sometime on Thursday. Probably PM, of course, but any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. All right, see what happens. Okay, next we have offer to purchase of, remember we were in closed session when we discussed this at the last meeting, but we have a offer to purchase from Sunny Day Child Care and Preschool to purchase 1 acre of land from the Business and Technology Park. And Henry, you want to just?
Yes, sir. As the mayor said, this was discussed in closed session. The council directed staff to go back with the counter that was discussed. It was accepted by Sunny Day. There's actually 2 action items, probably need to take them separately, but is the offer to purchase. And then tied to those discussions was the desire to get a payment in lieu of taxes agreement in place, and that is also that has also been accepted by their board of directors. So, ready to go.
Henry, that payment amount, that $777, that's the same as?
Is what we
before?
discussed. That's
All
correct.
right, so that didn't change, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, we'd be looking for a approval of the sale price for the 1 acre of land.
Make a motion that we accept the purchase price of $25,000 for the 1 acre land.
Second.
We have a motion by Hackett, second by Hagan, that we approve of the Sunny Day purchasing 1 acre of land in our business and technology park for an amount of $25,000. Any further discussion on that? If not, Sandy will call the roll.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Jillian Peterson,
Aye.
Steve Hackett,
Aye.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Paul Mayo, Chuck Whitman,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
and Lori Chestnut.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, and then the next thing that goes along with this is Sunny Day did agree and did sign an agreement, which is, this is for you, of course, Steve, payment in lieu of taxes, parentheses, pilot, agreement between the city of Waupaca and Sunny Day Child Care Preschool.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Mayor, I'd move for approval of the payment in lieu of taxes agreement between the City of Waupaca and Sunny Day Child Care and Preschool.
A motion by Mayo, second by Dave Peterson, that we approve of this pilot agreement between the city and Sunny Day. Any further discussion on that? If not, Sandy will call the roll.
Lori Chestnut,
Aye.
Steve Hackett,
Aye.
Chuck Whitman,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Jillian Peterson, Paul Mayo, Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
and Eric Olson.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
Under new business, under the city planning, we have a scrap dealer's license. Brennan?
Thank you, members of council. In front of you, you have the yearly renewal of the scrap dealer licenses for the 7 listed there. Plan Commission did approve the ones that actually were submitted to the Plan Commission or showed up at the meeting. They also gave me authority to contact or look at the other sites that did not. I have spoken and reviewed all sites, and they are in conformance to what their applications are.
Okay, so we would need approval of, these are 1-year licenses. They go from July 1st through June 30th of each year.
Move to approve all scrap dealer license applications.
Second.
Motion by Dave Peterson, second by Hackett, that we approve of the scrap dealer's license for Alter Metal Recycling, Waupaca Regional Recycling and Compost Center, H&H Recycling, United Milwaukee Scrap, Siegel Recycling, D4 Metals, and Napic Salvage of Waupaca. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Next, we have the Senior Center Coordinator job description. Aaron?
Thank you, Mayor. My memo can be found on page 75 of the packet. As everyone here knows, Terry Moe has taken another job, and in the last couple weeks we've been discussing this with other park and rec departments around the area, seeing how their senior center coordinator position is set up, and some of it is comparing apples with oranges depending on how each department kind of runs their senior center. One thing we did look into is I know a lot of them partner up with the county and have that person actually be a 40-hour per week position, and let's say 3 hours a day are paid by the county, 5 hours a day are paid by the city. But with that, they have to also take on the responsibilities of hosting a nutrition site, which we felt by adding that, we actually probably would be taking away some hours of what we're currently working on. So we didn't feel like that would be a great fit for us here. The job description that you see attached to your memo is going to be the new format here that you'll see coming forward with other job descriptions. We worked with GovHR. This is the first one that they did for the city. This is not an extra cost. It'll just come off of just one less job description they'll have to do at a later point, but we didn't want to bring it back twice. This position will no longer be salaried. This was a unique position. We changed it about a year ago to be a salaried position because Terry and her staff do a lot of weekend events, fundraisers, things like that, where we had to watch hours. And the Health Care Act came in, and we had to be under 30 hours per week. That proved to be difficult at times. But with us making the change to have this senior center coordinator be more of a working supervisor with instructing classes, whether it be computers, arts classes, physical activity classes, things like that. GovHR and us had discussions and didn't feel like that position qualified to be an exempt position. So we moved it back to an hourly wage of $17.50 per hour. That compares to $19.82 per hour, which is what our former senior center coordinator was getting paid. Once again, she was here for 24 years. We feel $17.50 is competitive with other area positions that are similar. And we are just asking that this job description get approved so we can move forward in the hiring process, recruitment process, and go forward from there. Any questions?
Okay, if there are no questions, we're looking for a motion to approve the changes to the senior center coordinator job description.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Whitman, second by Dave Peterson, that we approve of the job description change for our senior center coordinator. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Thanks, Aaron. You did a nice job on that.
Thank you.
Let's go then to request for proposals for a downtown business district parking study. Brennan.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. The memo starts on page 79. As the council remembers, recently we approved the downtown visioning plan, and to expedite some of the process, which will be more intensive with the downtown master plan, one of the discussion items that we had come up with a lot of the business owners in the downtown visioning group was some parking scenarios and some parking issues that were identified throughout the visioning exercise. We are splitting the downtown master plan up into two projects, one being the downtown parking study that is in front of you guys this evening. There will be a more intensive RFQ that will be coming forward to you guys in a couple of weeks. But we wanted to expedite this project and get it started because when we were doing the visioning plan, we heard from a lot of the business owners about the different time periods throughout the summer and throughout the year that there may or may not be, parking issues in the downtown area. So we wanted to do a pretty comprehensive and extensive look at the different time periods. We are known for tourism within the community, so our summers here intend to be a little bit more busy, whereas non-tourism season and high shopping season has a different type of clientele and different type of parking standards and needs within the downtown area. Attached is the RFP that we're looking at sending out to qualified firms seeking proposals for this project. The intent more or less is to do 3 different 1-week parking audits throughout the year, one being done before Labor Day to really capture the summer tourism season. We're looking at another parking audit that will be done relatively between after Labor Day to around November 1st, and then the other parking audit would be around right after, I'll say, deer hunting season to the end of the year, which is the Christmas shopping season. Those parking audits would be about 3 or 4 times per day for about a 1-week period, and then with that information, that data that's collected, they'll be able to take a look at our current scenario and businesses that are in the downtown area and begin to start forecasting some models for whether or not we have enough parking. Not enough parking, those will be some of the information that will be collected. Along with those, they'll take a look at our ordinances and identify some needs and make some recommendations for the future. Again, this is more of a snapshot for right now and for our immediate needs. We'll also be coming forward here relatively soon with this information is definitely going to help us out for our STP application that we're looking at for monies for Main Street as well, and the design work that'll be hopefully started later this year. Last year, the council allocated $50,000 towards the downtown master planning process. This is a component of it. We're seeking to utilize some of those funds right now while we wait on our other grant applications for the larger downtown master planning project that will be coming forward shortly.
All right. So, as you heard Brennan say, he's requesting that we approve that he's able to send out this request for proposals for a downtown business district parking study.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Keelan, second by Whitman, that we approve of the City of Waupaca request for proposals for the downtown business district. Any discussion? Scott, go ahead.
Brennan, I see the study is just gonna pretty much engulf 4 months. What about the other 8 months of the year? Like, you know, after the New Year's, why did we not choose to check then?
You know, at least I felt that, you know, we were capturing a comprehensive review. Our winter times are a little bit more challenging. There's no doubt about that. And I think there's less of a demand for the parking in the downtown area. I kind of looked at that when I, looking at the audit, that would be similar to what we would see maybe after Labor Day to, you know, through September and October. That time period, although it's still warmer outside and everything else, I think would still capture a relatively good understanding of what our parking needs are in the downtown area. And again, targeting the 3 specific ones, you know, during the tourism season between Memorial and Labor Day. The time period between that and the shopping season, I thought would be a relatively good audit for our general non-busy times, I would say, throughout the year. And then again, there was a concern from some of the business owners that, you know, the holiday shopping season was definitely a busy time for them as well. So that would capture that time period as well. And I've also built into the RFP that, you know, if there was a desire, you know, from the city to maybe look at peak times or peak events as a possibility, that they give us a per hour cost for that as well. So if there wasn't a, you know, again, we can't, you know, forecast, but if we have other events in the downtown area that we wanted to capture some data, we could also request them, you know, as a add-on to the project, but at least we have a dollar amount for that as well.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else have any questions? Paul?
Have you identified the companies that you're going to be sending this RFP to, and how many are there, and where are they located?
Still working on the rest of that list right now. I've reached out to Stevens Point, Wausau, Appleton, Oshkosh, and they are sending me, I have some of them right now, the companies that have either submitted for their recent parking studies. We'll probably have a list of about 10 to 12 different, they're mainly engineering firms that produce these type of studies. There are some dedicated parking consultants out there as well. That'll be, honestly, you're probably, I'm targeting probably the Midwest region here a little bit. So you're looking at anywhere from here down to Milwaukee, Madison, Chicago would be those companies.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. You ready to vote? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Continuing under new business, we have the, we're on to the mayor's appointments, and I'll turn those over to Paul Mayo.
Thank you, Mayor. The mayor makes the following appointments to various commissions and boards and committees. Lori Chestnut to the Historic Preservation Commission. Lori Chestnut to the Historical Society. Lori Chestnut to the Library Board. And Lori Chestnut to the Emergency Planning Committee. Welcome to the council, Lori.
Thank you.
At this time, I would need a motion to approve the mayor's appointments.
Second.
Moved by Olson, second by Keeland, to approve the appointment to the various commissions, boards, and committees. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, or against, no. Motion carries.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Lori, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Those are basically the committees, well, they are the committees that Deb was on before, so we just moved her into there and we didn't have to move anybody around. So we're going to see how it works with her busy schedule, and we'll just see how it goes. Okay, next, Josh, you're coming back out again. Low power FM radio station.
As most of you should recall, last December I gave a presentation about the idea of adding a low-power FM radio station with Wind TV to expand our efforts in that department. And this is something that a number of other cities are doing. It's nowhere near as many cities that operate a cable TV station, but this is maybe kind of the next generation of cable access per se. Some nearby examples, the city of Oshkosh has been operating one of these for nearly a decade, and the city of Stevens Point will be putting theirs on the air this summer. This was a project that we went out and secured outside funding for the startup costs for, and I'm happy to report that we have raised enough money plus a little bit extra to purchase all the equipment needed to proceed with this project. And I'm here tonight to ask for permission to move forward on this. Any questions, comments?
Josh, as such, do you see any expenses coming to the city as this gets going, or additional expenses we didn't foresee?
Not really. I think on an annual basis, our base operation shouldn't require any increase in my budget. I'm going to change a little bit how we do staffing on the TV side to free up some resources. A lot of the programming that will be on here, not all, but a lot, will be, city council meetings, county board meetings, school board meetings, Winchester, library programs, et cetera, and we're already paying some of the tape, though, so we'll just take the audio from that to broadcast on there, and we'll be looking to do some other things that would either be volunteer or just change of resources. I mean, as far as equipment goes, once we get the initial equipment, we'll be in good shape, barring maybe the replacement of an odd piece of equipment here or there, but that's no different than on the TV side. So unless down the road, people want to make an extravagant change to this operation, I think it'll fit nicely into the current operations budget. Nope, we'll do it with what we have. And just like I said, we're going to change a few things around to free up some hours, and I think it'll work out nicely.
Okay, so we would be looking for a motion to approve proceeding with the low power FM radio station, WILW.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Keelan, second by Hackett, that we approve of staff moving forward with the low power FM radio station. Any discussion? If not, Sandy will call the roll.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Jillian Peterson,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Chuck Whitman,
Aye.
Steve Hackett,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
and Lori Chestnut.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Josh. Okay, next we have a discussion on changing the municipal code as it deals with delinquent financial obligations for the city, and this is something that I brought up, and I just want to give you a little background here. This is really dealing with licenses that we have, licenses and permits that we give out in the city, and before the licenses can be granted to the individuals, they have to have their financial obligations if they owe the city any money or money that was derived from a city fine. Then they must pay this in full before they receive the license or permit. What I'm asking is that that instead of having it paid in full, that it would say something like, and I'm not an attorney here and I'm not going to try to be, but paid in full, or if there is a agreement set up where they are paying on a monthly basis until their obligation is completed. This gives the opportunity for people that have fines that if they've set up an agreement, let's say, for example, they owe $100, if they agree to pay $25 a month for 4 months and it overlaps the deadline, this would give them that opportunity to do that instead of creating a hardship for those individuals. So, Lori.
I think that I've seen, through the court system, that when people are given this opportunity, many times they don't make the payment. And then what happens is it becomes the court's issue to recover the funds. And I'm looking at how this might affect you. I don't know if how the funds would be.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
How often does this happen?
Well, it doesn't, you'd have to ask the clerk's office. I mean, it does happen, and the way I look at it is that you're taking somebody that's making $8 or $9 an hour that owes you $700, and if they can't pay that $700 that they owe, but they're on a monthly agreement, and it's actually a garnishment, so it's actually coming out of their paycheck and paid directly to the county, and you're not allowing them to get their license, well, they no longer have a job then. And these are low-income people. It's not like, I mean, I compare what we do to others, like, for example, when we do sidewalks, we allow people to pay over 7 years, but we do their sidewalks right up front. We don't know that they're going to pay or not, but we still allow them to do that. I mean, I'm just thinking that it creates quite a big hardship. I agree that if they don't pay, then where are we? Well, I guess the next year they certainly aren't going to get their license for sure. They'll get their license once, but they won't get it again.
Do these people generally come back or stay at the position they're at for a period of time, or do they tend to move on?
I don't know how to answer that question. Licenses, the licenses stick with these people as long as they apply for them for their life, and if they don't, then they have to reapply at a future date. So most of these people like to renew them even if they don't have that same job that they had before. I mean, once you have a license, you want to keep it as long as you can. I don't want to say it's no big deal, because I think it is a big deal, because we really should look at how we structure our agreements to other people that have agreements where they make monthly payments or yearly payments to us, if we're not willing to work with people that are on the very low income side, and this is the only way that they can earn a living. So. Any other comments besides what Lori has said?
Mayor, if you're gonna put some teeth in this thing, you would almost have to have some provision that if they missed the payment, their license would be revoked.
Can we do that?
Well, or suspended. I suppose you could, depending on the license, but if it's a liquor license, then you have a problem. Because the state law says you have to go through a whole set of hearings and a whole bunch of stuff and have notices and all kinds of things before you can revoke a license that's in existence for whatever cause. And that proves to be problematic. Well, now, a liquor license is a little different because a person is running a business and should have enough money to pay fines and various other things. But if you're talking about a bartender's license or scrap dealer license or I don't know what, those things maybe aren't that big of a deal. But if you're going to have any kind of teeth at all in something, if they miss a payment, then it's revoked, I guess. And do they get a hearing? Do they get an excuse? They get one miss and they can make, I don't know, it gets complicated. And I know what you're saying. On the other hand, you do allow assessments to go over a 7-year period, but if they miss their assessment, it goes on the tax bill for that property, which is a whole different deal than trying to collect an assessment. Is a lot easier because it goes on the tax bill and gets collected as delinquent real estate tax.
Sure. understand. Paul, did you have?
Well, I was just gonna say, it makes sense in a way that if somebody owes a fine and they can't get a job, how can they pay the fine? And they're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. So I agree with that part of it. And I also agree with John, if there's something we can write into this municipal code to, if they do miss a payment, that if, say, it's a bartender's license, if it's suspended at that point until they become current, I would be in favor of that also.
Okay. Henry?
John, if they go on a payment plan, could they waive their right to that access to the state statute for hearing? Because I know in special assessments and development agreements, we get developers to waive their rights to contest a special assessment.
And that's all in statutory language, that the city is allowed to get those waivers.
Wow.
But in this case, boy, I don't know.
Is there a difference between the word revoked and suspended? If we revoke it, we're taking it away. If you suspend it, you just, in limbo, they can't use it until they catch up. Is there anything you can work with there?
Jillian?
Are these all, like the licenses and permits, they're ones that have to be renewed every year, right?
Yeah.
So in order to stay away from anything that would get complicated with suspending or revoking someone's license, can we say that if you miss any payments, you won't be approved the following year? You have to be up to date, like you only get one shot, and if you're, if you don't follow through on us giving you this payment plan, then you're not going to be approved if you're not up to date by your next one. If they've made all of their payments, then it would continue again if it was a huge fine where they were still paying it off the following year.
Yeah, I think that we can word it any way we want. This is an ordinance change, so we're just discussing this, and we're going to ask John Hart to write up a draft of some kind, if you're okay with moving forward with this. I didn't want to be presumptuous here and say, well, nobody's in favor of this, let's not move forward here. So I don't want to spend city money where we don't have to spend city money.
Mayor, I'd be more in the favor of an immediate suspension if they miss a payment. Do we have any of these types of agreements, these payment agreements for fines? Are they in place right now? And if so, how are they structured?
Well, we do something similar on utility bills, but it's very seldom on the fines, but it has occurred.
All right.
It's either they come and pay it all or nothing. We've had a few, I think, through the years where we've allowed them to pay it.
So that may be part of the process then, is if they're unable to pay, is constructing something that would allow them to pay over time, just similar to what we have in sidewalks. That's a set plan. And
yeah, now that wasn't necessarily tied to an issuance of a license. It might be park a ticket, or might be some some other thing with the city. I know personal property is always a difficult one to get collected. It doesn't. It's a lot more common on the utility bill side, where we set up payment plans.
But we do set up payment plans on utilities. We had a guy in here at our last meeting that hadn't paid his bill in 6 months, and we kept his sewer bill on until he came to a conclusion. So we have plenty of precedent out there where we have allowed people to make payment plans or change things. So, I mean, you're talking about junk dealer's license, you're talking about operator's license, you're talking about liquor license, you're talking about the taxi, we're talking about what's the the,
Be secondhand dealer's license.
yeah.
And
I mean,
there's not many licenses we issue.
Okay, well, Paul, go ahead.
If if we're to do this, I would think we have to have something like a minimum fine of, say $200 or $250. If it's below that, it needs to be paid in full. And then the other thing you should, look at doing is having splitting it into a maximum of a 1-year term. Would be my suggestion.
Okay. Steve, go ahead.
Well, just, if you're making $8 or $9 an hour, $250 is a lot of money.
The amount was just a suggestion. It doesn't matter. At some point you have to say that the if a person has a $50 fine and or 20, whatever the case may be, there needs to be some sort of minimum where we're split. We will expect payment in full, and then above that, having payment plan available, whatever the number might be.
Okay, so, what do you think? Anybody else want to say anything? Are you in favor of seeing something in a ordinance type form that you could look at? There'd be 2 readings, obviously, a first reading and a second reading on this. Anybody that's against it?
The concern I have is about the liquor licenses. That's kind of a big deal, and we should protect ourselves in case we're looking at wanting to revoke a liquor license.
Okay. John, you got enough information to look at that?
Yeah, I do, but I can't have it by the next meeting because Mr. Hackett just cut off 2 days of time for me to fix this. I'm teasing.
Somebody got
I'm
it. Here, I got it.
I'm teasing.
I know you are.
I got a lot less time now to do it, but I can come up with something.
Right.
I'm gonna have to work a weekend though.
You got me crying here.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
John, I appreciate that.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to, and we'll see what happens here. Little levity here. Okay, let's go, move on to pay increase considerations for 2 employees working at the wastewater treatment plant. Henry, your name is on this, so.
Thanks, Mayor.
I see Jeff's here.
Yeah,
tonight,
in case
too.
we have any questions, I did invite Jeff Dyer, our wastewater treatment plant superintendent, to be here with us. The packet pages begin at page 93. We have 2 pretty new employees that have started at the waste treatment plant, and they have passed their first exam. They've been uncertified, and now they've passed their grade T class that the DNR puts out, and have successfully completed that. Now, prior to Act 10, it was in the contract. If they passed it successfully, they got the increase. It was just kind of automatic. That was all renewed. Post Act 10, anything that has to do with certifications of operators and those kind of things, it was the council's direction to see this before any administrative action was taken. So that's why it's in front of you. Jeff's cover memo kind of gives the background. I pulled the last labor agreement in force, and that was the 2011. And on the top, if you can read my chicken scratch, I put each year and then what the pay increase was for that particular year. So 2012 was 2.01%, and you can see 2013, 2014, 2015 was 2.5%. So the baseline for the recommended increase is based off of that contract, and you can see the effect. I did double check with Tina. I think you might have got the wrong number initially. It's $2103 they're currently paid.
He had Tina's
Yeah, and it is correct that it's a 35% or 35-cent increase per hour. Sorry about that. So the recommendation would be to move them, assuming you would agree, effective on council vote, to move them to $21.38, which would be, their classification would be a grade T operator. So they're still in training. There's still other operator classifications they can achieve in the future. And given the current direction, every time they would succeed at this, you would see another request before you.
I make a motion, we approve the request for these two employees to 2138.
Second.
Motion by Hackett, second by Whitman, that we approve of the pay increase for Cody Bank and Eric Johnson, additional 35 cents per hour. Any discussion?
How does that number match up? I missed that. The letter, it says $20.
Well, that's where the discrepancy is. I did go back, and I'm not sure she gave what number she gave you, but I double checked with her, and she gave me an email and confirmed each year's increase, and then what the difference was. Adding each rate increase to this brings it to 2138. They are currently being paid 2103, a difference of 35 cents. So somewhere something got lost in the translation and on that. But that is a clarifying email that I did receive from Tina. So
Well, the letter says 2003,
Yeah.
and you just said 2103.
right. So I know. Yeah.
Any other discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Paul Hagan.
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky.
Aye.
Dave Peterson.
Aye.
Chuck Whitman.
Aye.
Steve Hackett.
Aye.
Eric Olson.
Aye.
Paul Mayo.
Aye.
Jillian Peterson.
Aye.
Alan Keeland.
Aye.
And Lori Chestnut.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
All right, next we have license report number 1278. This is a Class B intoxicating liquor license and Class B fermented malt beverage license, Class A beer and intoxicated liquor license, and Class B fermented malt beverage license, and Class C wine license. You can see the name on here. The license report is longer than the list of people that are on, businesses that are on here, but you do have, this is kind of a holdover from the last meeting. These are individuals that probably didn't get by the deadline, so they're on this meeting. So I'd be looking for approval of these.
Make a motion, we approve license report number 1278.
Second.
We have a motion by Whitman, second by Hackett, that we approve license report number 1278. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. We have license report number 1279, which is the operator's license. And again, I think it's important that we say that these licenses are pending background check and payment of any fines owed to the city at this time. So that's what it says. So you have a list of people on here for license report number 1279. We'd be looking for a motion to approve.
Move to approve license report 1279.
Second.
A motion by Hagan, second by Whitman, that we approve license report number 1279. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Nothing under issues, project discussion, communications, recommendations of the mayor. I just want, talking about when Paul Mayo was appointing Lori to committees. We have some committees that we still have some vacancies on, and the three I can remember right now, and Sandy, you could probably help me with this because she sends me an email weekly on this, but to remind me that I need to get appointments here. But we still need another city member on the library, and that can be another council member if there is a council member that would like to sit on the library besides along with Lori. Paul Hagan is our alternate on there too, but we would be looking for somebody else maybe to just be the permanent. We did have a resignation on the Board of Appeals, so, and he was actually the chairman of that too, so we'd be looking for a citizen at large, city citizen at large, to sit on the Board of Appeals. They just meet when they're asked to, and that could be, I mean, last year I think they met once, maybe twice, twice last year. So it isn't a huge time commitment. And then we also need a member on the Oz property too. I know that we need at least one member on the Oz property committee. I don't know, is there any other one, Sandy, you can think of? Yeah, those are the three, okay. So if you know of anybody, just have them contact me or Sandy, and we'll get them on those boards if they're, or commissions if they're wanting to. Anything else for the good of the meeting? We'd be looking for a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Motion by Keelan.
Second.
Oh, what happened? Second by Hackett, that we adjourn to our next regular scheduled meeting, which is Tuesday, June 16th, 2015 at 6 p.m., subject to call. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. We are adjourned at 7:12 p.m. Thanks, everybody, for watching, attending. We'll see you at the next meeting.